If you're using Badline Client, you should purchase the ThirtyVirus Code Red Badline Cloak, which I'm actually putting on sale. You can get an additional 10% off for using the code ThirtyVirus on checkout. Anyways, let's go. So, SkyBlock has a progression problem, and today, I'm here to fix that. Right now, the item economy is severely flooded by armors and weapons that are not the best, and they're tossed aside for better equipment. These items are worth far less than their actual effectiveness in-game, and they get tossed to the side, where early game players could then pick them up and start using them in phases of the game where it's not deserved, therefore progressing too fast, causing power creep. What if there was a way to give a purpose to these old items while adding a very needed level of challenge to a game that's severely lacking in difficulty? Introducing item durability. So how would this system work? Well, let's say each piece of armor and weapon has a durability score, which degrades with use very slowly. Finding new armors and weapons from drops has a random durability amount, which can add an extra level of RNG that could be exciting. What would this durability really mean for the effectiveness of the gear? Well, in my opinion, 75% plus durability would mean full usability of the item. You would have the best stats available with that weapon or piece of armor, and you won't see any change. If it drops below 75%, its effectiveness is linearly reduced until 0% durability, in which the item doesn't disappear, but it does break and is not usable until it's repaired. This would add a few extra enchantments to the game. For example, Unbreaking can finally be brought in the SkyBlock. It can be added maybe in Obsidian collection, and then you can add higher level books to the Dark Auction. For example, you could have Unbreaking 10, which makes an item not need durability at all, and add it to the DA for, I don't know, 10 billion coins each. I don't know what the player base would do with that, but obviously you'd be able to add the Unbreaking enchantment to your weapons and armor to reduce how quickly it degrades. Over the entire meta of SkyBlock, ideally the average durability of every item owned by every player should be at about 50%, and repairs would be expensive. So this would require a rebalance of everything in SkyBlock. So let's say the aspect of the end. Currently, with the warped Reforge, mine has almost 300 damage and strength. Maybe this would be adjusted to be what the AOTE would do if it was at half durability. Every single piece of armor and weapon in the game would effectively get a buff if you were to repair it above 75%. Let's say you would get a 25% boost in the effectiveness of that piece of armor or weapon. Now that sounds pretty OP, but again, it's gonna be expensive to repair gear, and although it will degrade fairly slowly, like I would say 10 hours of gameplay wouldn't even get you. You'd probably get about 10 hours of gameplay out of a weapon before it starts to degrade below 75%. But anyways, I think this could be really interesting. It would provide an incentive to go back and actually grind something like Ender Armor, because you can get random drops from Enderman, repair them together, and then resell it on the auction house for a way inflated price. And nobody would be selling their extra armors to the NPC anymore, because there'd actually be value in armor and weapons that have 100% durability. Now, there could be certain reforges that give a bonus to the max durability of weapons, so this could increase the complexity of the reforge stone system. And there could be certain pets that slow down armor and weapon degradation speeds. The next aspect of this idea is repairs. I already mentioned one of these methods of repairing items. So let's say you have two lapis chest plates, one of which is at 50% durability, the other's at, I don't know, 40% durability. You can craft them together in the crafting table, or with an anvil. Actually, that'd make more sense with an anvil. And you'd repair them together, adding their durability values together and awarding smithing XP, which we'll get to later. This would be the go-to option for early game players and for early game armors that it really doesn't matter what enchantments you have on it. It's not armor that you've been using for a long time. It's just, hey, I have two lapis chest plates, let's add them together. The second method would be using a weapon or armor repair kit. and you can use them on your piece of equipment in an anvil for more smithing XP. It's cheaper than NPC, but it's still pretty costly. Most likely the common choice for mid-game and late-game players. It could be crafted with enchanted clay, among other enchanted ores possibly. Could give a purpose to clay minions again. But a repair kit would be the go-to option for people that actually value the enchantments on their piece of armor. Let's say they put some hot potato books on it, and maybe it's expensive if they wanted to buy another one of their piece of equipment. Let's say someone got a crystal armor set, and they don't want to, you know, get another crystal armor piece to repair with their helmet. So let's say they use an armor repair kit instead of finding a second piece. Now, that leaves us with the third method of repairing gear, and that's through a special NPC that can repair any armor or weapon, but it costs a premium. It'd be more expensive than buying the equivalent amount of weapon or armor repair kits, but it has the added benefit of bringing the condition to that item to 125%, making it take much longer for the item to degrade to the point where it's less effective, which again is 75%. It rewards no smithing XP though, or a massively reduced amount of smithing XP. This would be the go-to option for endgame players before they obtain Unbreaking 10. Next up is the smithing skill. This would be a new skill in the game, similar to alchemy or enchanting, where you do a little manipulation in the inventory to get some skill XP. It would be a non-cosmetic skill, so it would provide a benefit in game. You'd get smithing XP by crafting armor and weapons together, like I just said, or by using weapon and armor repair kits, and possibly a small amount by paying an NPC to do it for you. And as you increase your smithing skill, you will lessen the amount of degradation on your armors and weapons. So the higher level your smithing skill, the slower your weapons and armor will degrade. And as an added bonus, give a little strength to players to incentivize getting smithing 50. Another benefit to getting a high smithing skill is that you would get a bonus amount of durability from combining gear and applying repair kits. So let's say you have a smithing level of 1, you add 2 lapis chest plates together, one has 50% durability, one has 50% durability, you get a chest plate with 75% durability. But if you were to have smithing 50, then you would get all of the durability from both pieces at the same time, so you'd get 100% durability. And same thing with the armor and weapon repair kits. Instead of providing 25% of an armor's durability, it would provide 50%. So what are the benefits of basically uprooting Hypixel SkyBlock's armor and weapon system completely and adding durability? Well, the first benefit is that you can't just buy everything you need with coins in the early game. I've said so many times that this is a problem, especially with god pots. And in addition to that, this would always make a demand for these items, and it makes scarcity, which would promote grinding for your own stuff like you're supposed to, instead of just buying it from the auction house. It would slow down early game progression, but keep things fun and meaningful. Think of the auction house with thousands of pieces of armor that are near worthless because the armor is really common. Quickly, the demand would rise in order to repair them together, making the items actually worth something, and would add an added level of satisfaction that would come from getting multiple pieces of armor or weapons from mobs and then repairing them together, and you'd be able to add it to your own gear. Especially with dungeons, think about the garbage that you pick up in dungeons in exchange for essence. What if you could combine them together to make some really powerful 100% durability gear that's stronger than the gear that used to be there before this update, this theoretical update, is added? There could also be a pet that gives the effect of the jury rigging perk from my favorite game of all time, Fallout New Vegas, which for those of you that have not played, let me catch you up. The idea of jury rigging is that you can repair similar items together. So maybe instead of getting, let's say, a Dreadlord sword and a Zombie Knight sword and not being able to repair them together, like let's say before you get the pet, you need to have a second version of the same exact weapon repaired together to get durability out of it. But what if you were to have a pet that gives you this perk that allows you to repair similar armors together? Let's say dragon armors. Let's say with this jury rigging perk that you're able to get strong dragon armor to 100% durability by using old, young, Protector Wise dragon armor pieces, and vice versa, maybe even Superior. So this would be really useful because, again, it would give purpose to more armor sets in this game. Let's say you're running a dungeon and you get Skeleton Master leggings and you're like, oh, this is awesome. And then you realize, oh wait, it's only a 50% durability. So it's good, but it could be better. But along your travels, you get, let's say, 3 entire sets of Skeleton Grunt and Skeleton Soldier armor, and you're able to combine them together to max out your Skeleton Master set. So this would increase the value of, it would give value to almost every single piece of armor in the game, which would be really healthy for the economy, in my opinion. People would be spending less, they would be spending less of their items selling to the NPC or redeeming for essence, and you'd be able to use durability as almost a second currency that could just add value to your good weapons and armor by using crappy armors and weapons. So this could be a huge game changer in a really good way. It would actually mean that you get value out of just playing the game. And of course, this would provide a new money sink in the late game, because let's say a lot of end game players decide, hey, I don't need to circumvent the system here. I don't want to go and buy a bunch of Dreadlord swords to repair my Livid Dagger. Let's just say I'm lazy. I just want to spend the coins at the NPC, pay 2 million coins to get it from 50% durability to max, and that should last me about, I don't know, 15 hours of gameplay, because it goes to 125% durability. So there you go. This would add another way for coins to leave the economy. So there you go. That's the idea of item durability in Hypixel SkyBlock. Now, if you want to do some research of your own and see the effect of something like item durability in games, look at the difference between Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4. I can't tell you how many times I've replayed Fallout New Vegas, the hundreds of hours I put into the game, and it's always fun for me because every time I pick up something, there's a reason, there's a purpose for it. I can salvage it, I can repair other pieces of equipment with whatever weapons and armor I pick up. I can sell them for decent prices at NPCs. And meanwhile, in Fallout 4, let's say you take out a whole dungeon worth of enemies and you get like 50 submachine guns, I don't know, and you can't repair them together. There is no concept of durability. Everything's already the best it can be, and there's nothing you can do about it other than leave them on the floor, or in SkyBlock's case, sell them to an NPC or drop them on the ground. So yeah, I think this would be really healthy for Hypixel SkyBlock. It would add all sorts of new markets to the game. It would add a whole new market for, let's say you wanted to pay somebody or pay an NPC again to repair your stuff. So, and then there'd be a new market for item and armor repair kits, and it would give people a reason to craft together these armors and weapons so that they can get themselves to smithing 50. I don't know, it would make the game a lot more interesting, and you know, there'd be a whole lot less garbage. Maybe we can give magma armor a chance. Remember that? Maybe magma armor can be used to repair ender armor, since they're both similar sets. But yeah, it would be a great way to reverse the effect of items becoming useless after updates. I'd like to quickly clarify something. So it turns out I've become kind of a meme on the Hypixel forums for 2 claims that I supposedly made that sound ridiculous. The first one being that Recombobulator should be 500,000 coins, and the second one being that God Potion should be 10 million coins. Now, these sound ridiculous because they are. These are not what I said. So I just want to quickly clarify, when I said that Recombobulator should be adjusted, I meant that recombobulating something like a common item should cost a lot less than recombobulating something that's more rare. And the first version of my proposal, which I said in the video, but people never listened to me because, big surprise, people in the forums want to meme ThirtyVirus. But anyway, my original thought was, hey, let's change the price of a recombobulator to 500k and then just apply an additional cost upon using it in a Reforge anvil, similar to a Reforge stone. And the price would be about the same if you're using an epic or above talisman, recombobulating it to legendary to mythic. But the price would be reduced if you were to have something like common. Of course, that would kill the economy, so I've since updated my suggestion to make it so that recombobulators remain at their inflated 5 million coin price, but they come with 10 charges, and as you increase the rarity of the item that you're recombobulating, it uses more charges. For example, A common accessory or any item could be recombobulated for 1 charge, whereas an uncommon would take 3. A rare would take 5, an epic would take 7, and then a legendary or mythic would require all 10. So that would probably be a lot better of a system, because overall recombobulating less rare items would be reduced in price, which I think is fair, because I mean, a lot of this game's meta is kind of locked away behind a 20 million coin wall. For example, if you wanted to recombobulate a mushroom set, there'd be no reason to do that, but it'd be really interesting if you could. Also, talisman should not cost hundreds of millions of coins to get your whole accessory bag upgraded. It's freaking annoying. Anyways, yeah, that was my actual suggestion. So there you go. It's out there in a nice and easy and simple explanation. And the other one was 10 million god pots. I just redid the math and it still checks out. To have 24 hours of every single potion effect in the game, it would literally be about 10 mil. But you don't need that, because again, you're wasting half of the potions you're using. Like, you only really need the speed in combat if you're doing combat. If you're doing any skill, then you want the XP and the magic find. Like, I don't know. Anyways, that's not the point I was making. I was not saying that god potions should be 10 mil. I was saying that there should be many smaller potions that are more reasonably priced, similarly to current god potions, and the duration should be less. Anyways, there you go. That's there. I had to clarify it because people think I'm stupid. I'm not. I know how this game's progression works. I just talk a little fast, and sometimes some points don't land for people. Anyways, well, leave your thoughts in the comments down below on this frankly crazy idea. I don't know. I haven't seen something like this before in SkyBlock Nerds. I did actually post this idea myself there, but I haven't gotten a response yet. So let me know what you think in the comments below. And like I said, if anything, this should make it so that the cap for how good a player is will go up, but it will make it more fun along the way to get yourself there, if that makes sense. All right. Well, anyways, I guess that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.